town submitted that though Joe may have gotten information that we would consider inappropriate or misuse of information, the defense of the action was that anybody could have come in at the last minute, and that is actually what the decision was made on. So everybody could do that. So my concern is that that is not something that was fixed in the months of conversation that we had about correcting the policy. So that stands the same. So that could happen again anytime, given that being the defense. So my thought on that then is that, and I actually intend to make sure I communicate this to as many contractors in town as I can. On any bid process, people would be wise to fill out their RFPs with no numbers and come into the town hall at the 11th hour and do the same thing for everything we put out to bid. None of that's corrected in any of the bid process or bid policy discussions that have been had. So you very well end up with a room full of people, and I'd be really curious to see if that holds up. If every person who came in here at the 11th hour would be treated exactly the same way, brought in and told whether or not there are any bids. I sincerely doubt that's the truth. I don't see that as a victory. I see it as a statement of tremendous mismanagement that in effect is having no bid policy at all. So that's my statement.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments, other comments? Seeing none, we will move forward to communications.
Mr. Vice Chair, we received a letter from Comcast in reference to some changes in some fees that they provide to customers who are looking to get billing statements reprinted or signal amplifier. If they're looking to payment by phone, there's some costs that are associated with it. If I may, I can just go. A field collection charge, a visit to customers' residents requiring to collect past due balance or unreturned equipment. Used to be no charge. The fee now is $20. A convenience fee agent for the payment made by phone with a customer care representative. The current price is $4, and they're going to $5.99. Signal amplifier. Current price is $20. The new price will be $35. A bill statement reprint. A bill statement copy requested by phone or in person with a customer care representative. Presently, there's no charge. It's going to $5. These will be in effect starting January 1st of 2012.
So what's the total amount? If you went up, do they give you a total amount?
What they do is they provide to you what the current price is, and then if you call and ask for these specific things, then the price is going to be adjusted accordingly. Just a newsletter from York County Community Action Corps. Anybody's interested in reviewing it. 2011 legislative update from Senator Ron Collins. I believe he must be sending them out because as a resident we haven't received here. Something that has been going around the internet quite a bit with managers, our manager's website, and it has to do with fireworks. A lot of municipalities are now looking at engaging into a local fireworks ordinance. We haven't discussed it, but I felt that it's something that we may want to entertain some discussion on, maybe a public participation piece at some point to see how the citizens as well feel about either the enactment of or the prohibiting of fireworks within the town of Berwick. So something food for thought, and if you want, I'll put it on an agenda item for a future business meeting for further discussion.
I think we should have a discussion on whether we want fireworks in the town of Berwick.
Sure.
My concern is that back when years ago, we did have fireworks, a lot of children were harmed by them.
Another letter that came from Comcast a little earlier in the business week, and didn't meet your last board meeting, but just some changes in their channel lineup that will be happening December 19th. Syntrex on channel 274 will no longer be available for subscription to the sports entertainment package. Will be continued to be offered at 274 with a subscription to the digital package. New BBC World will be added to the digital preferred channel at 190. BBC America or channel 241 will move from digital preferred service level to digital starter service. In addition, BBC will no longer be available for subscription to our bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and ultimate packages or our multi-Latino ultra package. So if you can make ideas of all that, good for you. Just a couple workshops that are coming up that are being offered by Maine Water Utilities Association. One is the 29th of November, knowing and protecting your water, your source water. And one that's going to be held in several locations, with the location in our area happening on December 13th, and it has to do with work zone safety. Our auditor always does his audit report, and every year the attorney is asked about whatever outstanding material pending threatening litigation as of the end of that fiscal year. That letter's been provided to them. It's here if you'd like to review it. And that's it.
After opening the meeting, and now that Chairman Ramsey has come in, do you at this time, Mr. Ramsey, wish to take over the meeting? If not, I will continue.
Why don't you continue till we get to unfinished business, then I'll take over.
Okay. Approval of accounts payable warrants.
There should be 3 of them there, and 1 payroll warrant to be reviewed and signed.
You guys wanna look at these for a while and we'll go back to it, or pass them down that way? Guess we can move on for the moment.
We will take the accounts payable warrants out of sequence later. Report of committees. Any committee reports? No committee reports. Unfinished business. We'll discuss the continued land use committee decision.
Yeah, I believe at your last business meeting, Mr. Vice Chair, there was a position of Selectman Crichton would begin a process of providing to you folks for consideration committee members that he feel would be important to add to the committee and the general purpose of the committee's efforts outlined. So I don't know if I know that him and I had some discussions. I'm sure he'll let you all in as to where he is on that.
Basically, the committee is not completely formed at this point, and hopefully we'll bring it in at the next regular meeting.
So we would like that on the agenda for the next meeting, please. Okay, no, that we'll put that on the unfinished business for next agenda. Continued budget committee discussion.
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair, you folks had asked me back in the beginning of October to provide a MMA sample budget committee ordinance for review by you. I provided by memo to you all on October 14th a copy of the sample ordinance. It's really a one-page document, and guess we're ready for any further discussions on that, whether or not you want to move forward with further discussion after you have reviewed the ordinance, whether you wish to engage the public in further discussion on whether or not, on the merits of having either elected or appointed board. It's entirely up to you folks, so I guess whatever you wish to do at this juncture.
What's the board's idea on this, budget committee?
Well, I'd like to know, get some feedback from the public, if they, what they think of having a budget committee.
I will open it to the public for, in reference to the budget committee, comments. Budget committee only,
Who are you looking for?
your thoughts
I mean,
and
do you
ideas.
want a committee that would recommend a budget to you that you could approve or disapprove, or you're looking for a committee that would actually formulate the budget for next year?
I guess we haven't decided that yet.
That's basically what we're looking for as far as your input, as far as the town is, you know, like that. Okay, you, Beth?
Yeah, I think, Eleanor, isn't, the board has to approve the budget. You can't turn that responsibility over. So either way, it would have to be for
But
the,
they can recommend to us.
right, so it'd be
We have a charter, we
recommendations.
still run under state law,
Um,
statutes.
I think it's a great idea, because it just gives you another set of eyes looking at things. The only thing I would ask, out of respect for the people who are giving their time, I think if we don't listen to people who sit on committees and take it really seriously, we're gonna run out of people willing to do it. And I think we've had a few committees lately that sort of felt like, and still feel like, they're on committees that aren't doing anything. So, and I've been there, I mean, time is tight, people are really tight for time. If we're gonna ask them to do it, it needs to be taken with a great deal of sincerity.
And I personally feel so that maybe we should have an elected one, if people are interested in running.
Even more so then though, I mean, if people are gonna go through the running for a position and really put that level of commitment into it, it better be taken pretty seriously, or you'll never get them to do it again.
I would hope they would be.
My
Yeah,
only
I think
concern
they
with
would.
the whole process is the amount of time that we usually have to deal with the budget process is usually crunched right in. We use workshop sessions and stuff like that. I'm not opposed to other eyes looking at it and doing whatever. They're gonna need, we're gonna have to expand this
Yeah.
time frame out so that they have an opportunity to look at it, and then that the board will have an opportunity to evaluate. Hopefully, they can smooth off the rough edges.
Right. You know what's interesting, Joe, I've talked to the people who do it in North Berwick, and for them, it's a full-time job. They're not doing all the rest of the stuff that this board's doing, so
Right.
they talk about it all year round.
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking to department heads and looking at different things, doing what Bob's committee did, looking at structures. It's all they do, so it really allows them not to be feeling that crunch. By the time that crunch comes, they can be talking to the board about things they've been thinking about
So
much more.
What does the town feel, I mean, as far as, you know, how would you like this established? Would you like it established as a voted position, or would you like it established as an appointed position, or?
Does North Berwick, once the budget committee presents it to the selectmen, do they pretty much accept it? I mean, they don't just say.
It's not
"Thank-"
rubber stamped, they have a conversation
Yeah.
about it, but I mean, those people are good at it,
Yeah.
it's what they do, so.
I would just hate
It's-
to have, elect 4 or 5 or 6 people, whatever it is, and have them work all year and have the board say, it's not what we were thinking.
That's what I'm afraid of too. And with all due respect, if you know where you're going, and then they come in with different ideas, and that happens, I think it quickly dies,
The
but,
county has a budget committee.
right?
And when we passed that, I was on the
Mhm.
committee that wrote that. And it's held pretty much all.
I think it's a great idea.
And they've had some battles up there.
Yeah,
But Velasco was there, you probably know, and I'll admit the commissioners really were not happy with it. But we put it through anyway, and I think it's worked quite well.
I think it's a great thing, I wish the school would do it too, I'd like the school board to do the same thing, I think.
I would say that this probably isn't going to happen this year.
Right.
I would put the charge on the taxpayers to come up with some ideas and decisions on what they might like to see as far as a, budget committee, and then, I mean, if that's the idea.
May I read these? We
Go ahead.
have a list up here. The committee shall have the following powers and duties: to review and make recommendations on the annual operating budget as proposed by the municipal officials / town manager. To review and make recommendations on an annual capital expenditures as proposed by the municipal offices / town manager. To review and make recommendations on supplemental appropriations and expenditures and other budgetary action whenever proposed by the municipal offices / town manager. And to make such other recommendations on fiscal matters as it may from time to time deem advisable. Those are the charges that are in this sample, and I thought they were pretty clear. Well, I think they're pretty clear.
I think what's really nice about it too is you may find people who will run for those positions who are uniquely talented in that regard. You may not wanna do any of the rest of the stuff that's going on, but
I have a question. Would the recommendations, they wouldn't come from the Board of Selectmen, they would come from the town manager to the budget committee, and then to,
I would think so. Is that where you're looking at, Keith?
I hadn't really thought too much about that. Usually, I think there would be some established perimeters that would be submitted by the municipal officials prior to budget development. And what I say by that would be, if you had any thoughts about where you felt that the budget needed to be, you would give that charge to the manager, who then would use those parameters to begin the development of a budget. And then as that budget gets developed, I would say that the budget committee would be an integral part of that discussion as we begin to get that all framed up, and then the committee would be in a position that they could present to the municipal officials after all these discussions, a budget that they felt was comfortable, and then you could begin a discussion with them as to what this budget entails.
I think you're shortening up the first process by 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, you may, and I think that would create some additional discussion. I mean, right now it's sort of compacted. I mean, we could, theoretically, you could perhaps start in October, the 1st of November, sometime now, looking at budget preparation. And so that the budget committee could, at a time at the end of the calendar year, be able to present to you their thoughts and recommendations, and then that would give you January, February, and March to vet those recommendations and make your final proposals as to what the budget would be.
can I make a suggestion?
It's okay.
Since North Berwick has done this for some time, it might be really interesting to see if they would, if their chairman and maybe 1 or 2 people from the budget committee would come in and talk about how they've structured it and how it's worked out.
I think Lebanon's had one for.
Yeah,
years
Lebanon
also.
has one too, yeah.
And I guess I think that, I know in the past, the Board of Selectmen has set a parameter of, we don't wanna increase any more than 1-2%, whatever we happen to come up with. And we had done that, so that the department heads would try to stay within whatever we had decided. Because this year, time's different, the economics are different, and,
Easy for you to
and I
say.
don't know what, but I think we've got to be pretty close.
I would recommend if there's any other questions or whatever that we
I
move
think
this.
a big